Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me?
Not a game. We talking about practice.
We thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Got a different need. I'm coming. I'm flat out coming.
It's my quarterback. And if you guys do that, man, it's unfair.
All right, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Report Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. William D. Morgan. I have a cast of thousands with me. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to get into some baseball. We got to touch this basketball situation, too. There's a lot of things going on in basketball that I'm just having trouble trying to freaking understand. Go in today with some football news. Let me go ahead and bring everybody in. First, here's my illustrious co-host who has forgotten more baseball than I would ever know because I've been dealing with too much with Asian women and Angel Wilson. Let me go ahead and bring in my man, Seven. Seven, what's going on?
What's up, man? I've been through a lot in the last week, but I think I'm gonna build up. I think I'm gonna make a late run and try to start a professional basketball career. I recently just hired Angel Reese as my shooting coach, so we'll see how it pans out. I mean, because come on, nobody expects me to shoot 38% in the NBA, so that's got to count for something.
Oh my goodness. Oh man.
Aren't you glad to have me back?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, let me bring in my good friend, my buddy from the Geek Outlet Podcast, Ando. What's up?
Seven. The fact that you said that with a straight freaking face. And he's not running a comedy show.
No,
He needs to run his own comedy
straight
show.
up.
Straight up. So I'm gonna answer your reply with this. I'm 5'9", maybe 5'10" on a good day. If I can shoot 30% from the floor, which I don't because I don't play basketball. It's the last sport that I play because, again, I'm 5'10". But if I can shoot 30% from the floor at like an AAU game at the YMCA, I got a basketball career because Angel Reese is doing it. And look at the WNBA is all about me. Not kidding. It's all But Seven, if you do go to the NBA, you got my support, man. White brothers stick together. Sorry, Will. But you got to play for the Bulls. That's it, man. You got to play for the Bulls.
No, man, I couldn't play for the Bulls and show Jordan up. Like, I wouldn't be able to do
not
that.
38%, you not 38%.
Not
Also,
30%. You ain't getting nowhere near Joe or Pippen for that matter.
Maybe Lonzo Ball at like 38% from three, but I mean that whole why is it?
You know what? I figured it out. I'm gonna hire LeVar Ball.
Oh shit!
Never lost.
Oh damn!
No, I'm gonna get LeVar Ball. Me and
Never
LeVar Ball
lost.
1-on-1. Angel Reese is gonna be my shooting coach up until I think with Angel Reese is my shooting coach. I'm
This
gonna.
is why you got to play for the Bulls because it's the same city, bro.
Hey!
Not
Listen,
saying, just saying.
listen. At least he'll be good down by the basket.
I mean,
That's the only place Angel Reese is good as far
a
as
whole
shooting is
lot of
concerned.
layups.
I mean,
Whole
don't get me
lot of
wrong.
layups.
She can rebound the ball. She's a great rebounder, but she should not be taking shots.
He's like 20 years older than me, so all I got to do is just break around him, and I can
People
get it
forget
in.
she's 6.
Just-
People forget she ain't short. She's 6'4".
Yeah.
Is she really that tall?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Also,
Good
before
for
we
her.
move on, 7. It's great to have you back on the show, man.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good to have 7 back.
It's good to
All
be
right, let
on.
me bring in my buddy from Player versus Team. Let me bring my man John in. John, what's up?
What's happening?
What's going on, man?
First off, you can't have Asia. She was mine when she was at South Carolina. Second off, I'm not gonna let y'all do my girl Angel like that.
Angel went to LSU, bro. It's fine. It's fine.
She stands
You guys
right
still
on
got
the other
JJ
side of
You guys
me,
got
just
Justin
like
Jefferson?
Asia stands on the left.
he said right by the other side.
We go hand in hand. I'm their
I'm
pimp.
sorry. Are we not talking basketball, John, or are we talking something else?
We're in love.
Okay,
Oh,
this ain't
man, you got
basketball,
both
man.
It's a polyamorous
Yeah.
super couple. You know what?
This
I
ain't
support
about-
y'all completely.
This ain't about the love of the game no more. This is something entirely different now. Okay, got you.
No, it's the
We
love of the
already
game. It's just a
knew.
different game.
We already knew
Yep,
Angel
yep.
Reese couldn't shoot. She's good near the basket. And 2, she does get fouled a lot.
And she
She
is a
does.
forward. And she is a forward, not a guard. So her job
Yeah.
responsibilities are a little bit different.
She's
Before we get
supposed to be
started-
down in the paint.
Before we get started, I know this is a sports report show, but I got to give a shout out to John about that T-shirt, bro.
Yes.
Sick ass
Oh,
T-shirt.
yeah,
Love
man.
it, man.
That is
Ninja
Pretty
Turtles,
nice.
boy.
Yeah, it ain't the
I don't know about
Beatles,
the
it's
Ninja
the
Turtles.
Turtles,
Something
bro.
wrong with all of y'all.
$5 below, $5. Man.
My favorite.
Really?
My favorite.
I gotta go to Five Below again.
That's where
My
I get
favorite-
all my
got a
anime
lot of them in the
t-shirts,
Midwest,
all of
Kevin.
it.
My favorite one is Donatello because I have a bow staff back there. That's my favorite turtle. Him and
Yeah, I have
Raphael.
I have a
Him and
bow
Raphael are my
staff
favorite too because I got a bow staff behind me and I got a pair of sides in my closet.
I will say I do got bow staffs every year when I do Christmas wrapping paper. I always play around when it's empty. Everybody does it though.
You have to. You
You
have to.
shouldn't play around with your bow staff.
But not-
And on that, let me bring my man. Let me bring my man in, Ambrose. He is the leader of.
I mean, you should, but just do it on your own time. Not during Christmas.
Hey,
Not on camera. Not on camera. Not with
Yeah,
what we're talking
not
about
on
with the Mets,
camera.
man.
can't do it on camera. No.
Not what we're
I mean-
talking about with the Mets.
Unless you get
Oh
OS.
hell no! I'm shocked they won tonight. They won
No.
tonight. I was amazingly shocked. What's up,
I'm
man?
I've got to ask a question. Is this the sports report or are Seven and Ando pitching Joanna Man 2 Electric Boogaloo? Like,
It wouldn't be Joanna Man unless we get Angel Reese to play. And
Listen,
if we can't get Angel Reese to play, we might as well.
No,
not.
no. I'm not gonna sit here and let the Angel Wilson hate continue.
Oh,
'Cause
agree,
that-
dude. No, she is. If she ain't MVP this year with her numbers,
She
man, something's really
better
wrong.
get MVP.
She
Oh,
better
dude.
be
Yeah,
MVP.
for sure.
And this is coming from a dude who likes Kelsey Plum because she played at Washington, and being a Washington State fan, I support and recognize when Washington is better than Washington State. But no, I mean the way Asia is playing this season so far, yeah, no, if she don't get MVP,
It's not even close.
she'd have
bro.
to fall off
It's
at this
not
point
close.
for her not to get MVP.
It's not close at all.
and with Edwin Diaz being suspended for 10 days, the Mets are expected to call up the Hamburglar.
You know
Yes.
what? You
Uh,
know what? You know what? I won't be opposed to that. He might help get some more wins.
The
Might steal a
Hamburglar
base
is going to
He
come
might
in.
help some more. He might help them get some more wins.
Say
Might help
rubble
steal a
bubble.
base.
Some more sales.
Jumping.
Hell yeah. Hey, the Mets won tonight though. So hey.
Let's get into baseball. Let's talk about the Mets. We got to talk about Willie Mays first, but we're going to talk about the Mets today.
Let's go and get
Yeah, a
into
lot
it.
of things. You got Willie Mays, Reggie Jackson. There's a lot of things we have to talk about with baseball.
Let's go and get into the 7th inning stretch early. Let's go.
I want to be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain, I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints.
And after that, we'll go into the NBA because I got a bunch to say.
Before
ahead,
we
sir.
start, let me just give a quick Stanley Cup update. The Panthers are holding the Oilers off at the end of the second period. It is 2-1. So the Oilers' bid to make history is stalling right now, but there's still a whole period of hockey to play. So as it goes on, I will give some updates.
Cool. Appreciate that.
Yep. I don't know. I want to see Edmonton take it just because I'm a fan of chaos, and I think it'd be chaotic to see them go 4-0.
As a Yankee fan, I encourage this. I would love Edmonton to come back from 0-3 as a Yankee fan.
What's wrong with you and Cat? Cat just want world domination. You want chaos. What is wrong with you and Cat? Y'all just can't be overwhelmed by normal shit. Ando up here, I like chaos. Damn.
No, if you don't have chaos in sports, man, something's completely wrong with you, bro.
That's the fun of sports.
Yeah.
What's going to happen when the Chiefs win Super Bowl number 3 in a row, man? The entire world is going to end. We have the Midwest currently flooding because the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. When the Chiefs won the Super Bowl in 2019 or 2020, we had COVID, right? So the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl, shit happens, man. But I'm totally
but the Chiefs, like Roger Goodell's not going to let the Chiefs win a 3rd Super Bowl in a row.
Dude, no,
we need to people aren't going to watch that. We need to have like the Lions in there or somebody. The whole NFL is rigged. The NFL has been rigged since 9/11, and the Patriots coincidentally won.
Only because the Rams only scored 17 points. If they had scored 21, they would have won.
This definitely sounds like a Raiders fan talking.
That's every football game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The NFL is rigged. It's rigged.
If the 49ers wanted to beat the Chiefs,
they
would have scored a touchdown in the overtime drive.
Yeah, they got beat tonight.
This is
I will bet on every sport except for football because football is rigged. I thoroughly believe that there is a predetermined winner in every game.
Anything you bet on is rigged.
You mean to tell me that you wouldn't bet on a WWE match, Ambrose?
I would. Just for the fun of it, though. Just for the fun of it.
It's like playing slots at a casino. You're just giving your
money.
money.
I mean, no, I bet on the WWE. I just bet on how low Vince McMahon can go as a depraved human being.
To be fair, Vince McMahon is out of office.
He's out of office. He's gone.
WWE anymore.
Vince is gone.
It's not as predictable.
Vince is gone. But he'll be back next. He'll be back next year
All right.
with his own stuff.
Who hit 0-0 on the roulette? Who had Vince pooping on someone's face? No one? Okay, the money stays in the pot.
Ambrose. You're fired.
You're fired, Ambrose. You're fired. You told my secret. You're fired. Fired. Or better yet, hey, I ain't not finna hit with this. Or better yet, you can become a part of my Kiss My Ass Club.
Who had Vince putting on a do-rag and saying insanely racist things for like a month-long campaign?
He did do that. He did do that. He did do that.
By Donald Trump, former president.
Vince McMahon saying they're doing racist things?
That's like
every
day.
Get out here, you rapist.
That's like every day for him.
Vince McMahon is an upstanding member of the American society and culture and would never say or do anything racist or come up with a storyline or a character for a wrestler to play that in any way has racist undertones.
He is Amber Heard's biological father, clearly.
And if you believe anything of what Seven just said, I got some land in Oklahoma I need to stay your ass.
That's beachfront property?
Yeah, beachfront property.
Hey, the way the flooding going, it might be, man.
All right. Let's go ahead and talk about my Mets real quick. What was your point, Seven?
Okay, so first, all right, really quick, before we get to the Mets, we got to pay respect. Last Tuesday, Willie Mays passed away at 93 years of age, and the next day, the MLB did their yearly game. Like instead of the Field of Dreams game this year, they played at Rickwood Field. It was
Alabama.
In Alabama. It's one of the oldest standing ballparks in existence. It is
the oldest.
It is the oldest.
One of the Indianapolis ballpark got knocked down 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it is a ball field where the Negro Leagues played, and if you watched that game, I believe that game was Wednesday.
Let me get you to hold up for just 1 second. And see, Ambrose didn't think this person existed.
I still don't believe she does.
But this person does exist.
Oh my God, it's happening.
This person does exist. My future ex-wife.
Everybody play with your bow staffs.
My future ex-wife. listen. My future ex-wife does exist. Does exist. So let me bring Erica on, because y'all think that she didn't exist, and she's right there.
Fake news.
we're not worthy.
I do
No, that's not Erica. That's just Janae.
Oh, that's Erica, bro. That's Erica. What up, Boo Thing? How you doing tonight?
Listen, I can change my hair color, and I'll do whatever you want to call me. Okay, like
Will wants you to call him Daddy.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not happening. Sorry.
Very nice to put a name. Very nice to put a face to the name. Nice to meet you finally.
Nice to meet you as well.
But I wanted to.
Oh, real quick, Ambrose. She's a Dodgers fan. Just so you know.
Oh well, we're not all perfect, and some of us are retarded.
And clearly, it just means she has a price. She's like you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I missed what Seven said. He was so busy trying to be funny, I was not laughing.
Wait a minute. Did you just say price? She has a price?
Everybody has a price if you're
Oh,
engaged
shit.
with the Dodgers.
Hey, Erica, I need to ask you, what's your price?
You can't afford it.
That's what the wine is for.
Clearly,
Will.
something nobody else.
Will, that's what the wine and dine is for.
I believe the great Kenny Powers said that things could be negotiated even in the heat of the moment.
Facts.
Can I wear?
Words of the $1 million man while we're talking about
can I wear the ski mask?
Yeah, me and you could come up with a contract, cash considerations.
Right.
We can come up with something now to make this thing work now. Come on.
Exactly.
All right, come on.
Hey, when we go down to Cats for the Texas meet and greet, Erica's up in Oklahoma. She just right down. Come on down.
Hey, Ando, I can't hear you because you don't have your fucking mouth around the whole microphone again.
What, like this?
She remembered that.
Whoa. Oh my God, he's in his natural state.
He did that way too easily.
Oh, damn.
I'm what makes the show go crazy. Nice to meet you guys.
Okay, so let's get back on
my boy John.
I will say I was out of practice, so I may have tore something. My bad.
Okay, we've got to address the Mets and how
stop putting microphones in your mouth.
We're gonna talk about the Mets in a minute. Let's finish talking about Willie Mays first, and then we'll talk about the Mets.
Yes.
Okay, so in order to pay respect to Willie Mays, at the game at Lakewood Field, Reggie Jackson was being interviewed on the broadcast, and there was a comment that he made that Ambrose brought up in our group chat, and I thought it was. And I remembered it, and I found the video, so I want to show this really quick because I think, and this is Reggie Jackson, Mr. October, getting real emotional talking about.
You can't ask Reggie to sugarcoat things. I think it was a dumb setup. You cannot, if you want someone to look lightly on things, you don't get Reggie Jackson.
Nope.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna share this, and we're gonna listen to it. Let's take a look here.
No, you don't plan. Reggie, the baton has been passed for over a century here. We've been talking earlier about if it wasn't for the Willie Mays, the Jackie Robinson, the Reggie Jacksons, the three of us wouldn't have an opportunity to play. How emotional is it for you to come back to a play that you played with one of the greatest teams around?
Alex, when people ask me a question like that, it's like coming back here is not easy. The racism that I played here, when I played here, the difficulty of going through different places where we traveled. Fortunately, I had a manager and I had players on the team that helped me get through it. But I wouldn't wish it on anybody. People said to me today, I spoke and they said, you think you're a better person? You think you won when you played here in Concord? I said, I would never want to do it again. I walked into restaurants and they would point at me and said, "Can't eat here." I would go to a hotel and they said, "Can't stay here."
Keep it real.
We went to Charlie Finley's country club for a welcome home dinner and they pointed me out with the N-word. He can't come in here. Finley marched the whole team out. Finally, they let me in there. He said, "We're going to go to the diner and eat hamburgers. We'll go where we're wanted." Fortunately, I had a manager, Johnny McNamara, that if I couldn't eat in the place, nobody would eat. We'd get food to travel. If I couldn't stay in a hotel, they'd drive to the next hotel and find a place where I could stay. Had it not been for Raleigh Fingers, Johnny McNamara, Dave Duncan, Joe and Sharon Rudy, I slept on their couch 3-4 nights a week. for about a month and a half. Finally, they were threatened that they would burn our apartment complex down unless I got out. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. The year I came here, Bull Connor was the sheriff the year before. And they took minor league baseball out of here because in 1963, the Klan murdered 4 black girls, children, in 11, 12, 14 years old at a church here and never got indicted. They were from the Klan. Life magazine did a story on them like they were being honored. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. At the same time, had it not been for my white friends, had it not been for a white manager and Rudy, Fingers, and Duncan, and Lee Myers, I would have never made it. I was too physically violent. I was ready to physically fight some. I'd have got killed here because I'd have beat someone's ass, and you'd have saw me in an oak tree somewhere.
Reggie,
dude, I gotta say, we have come so far from that, but we still have so much to grow as a society. So,
and they understand. They understand. You can't talk on it if you never lived it. You can't talk on it if you never lived it. And you see it not only in baseball back then, you see it in football. You saw it in basketball with the Boston Celtics. You even saw it in pro wrestling with Booker T and Stevie Ray.
Yep.
So it's everywhere. It was everywhere then, and it's everywhere now.
And
it just has a mask on it.
Yep.
It's first of all, respect to Reggie Jackson for using his platform to make it real for everybody. Because this is somebody, for me, when I first saw that, like when I was watching that live, listening to it live because I was in the process of moving to Wichita, where I'm now located. I was just thinking about the fact that Reggie took his chance to make it real for all of us. And somebody that's there, that's alive now, that's still functioning, somebody we could just sit and have a conversation with, that experienced that kind of hatred. That's how short of a time it's been.
And I think the problem with baseball is that baseball is a sport where it causes us to look back on it with rose-colored glasses, and we romanticize it. And we look at things like the Negro Leagues, and like I said in the chat, we hear the stories about cool Papa Bell hitting a line drive up the middle and hitting himself in the back of the head and knocking himself out because he was so fast, or Satchel Paige and you know the book of quotes that he has. But no one wants to point out that the league shouldn't have existed in the first place.
Facts.
No one wants to point out that these guys didn't have the support system Reggie Jackson had. They're riding a bus. Sometimes they got to sleep on that bus. There's nowhere for them to stay. They got to pack their own food. There's nowhere for them to eat. So, like no one wants to point out the ugly side of what it was like to be in a league where these guys weren't wanted. And that being said, I have a book I recommend. It's out of print, and I can't say the name of the book because it's the quote that Cap Anson gave that pretty much started the color barrier. You can look it up, but it's a collective of essays and journal entries and basic stories from Negro League players. It's put together by Art Rust Jr., who was a Negro League historian. And I'll put the title of the book, and I'll take a picture of the book. I'll put it in the chat, but I can't say the title of it because we'll get demonetized and banned. So, but if anyone's interested, I have it. You can probably find it on Amazon Used Books, and it really does give you a look because someone like me can't walk a mile in these people's shoes. But you can read something like that, and you can gain some perspective and realize how lucky you are. So, yeah.
Can I ask, because I didn't really follow baseball much growing up, and I'm still slowly getting into
It's because you throw like a girl.
Probably. The Negro League stats that they just kind of inserted into Major League Baseball, how long has the Negro League been around that it took them this long to add those stats into play?
So I will start by saying this. They decided in December of 2020 to incorporate the Negro League stats and professional league stats. That's because there are a total of 6, now 7 professional league stats that are included as official Major League Baseball statistics.
Yeah, because you have the Federal League, National League, American League, now the Negro League, the Western Association, and the 2 ones from the 1800s that aren't around anymore.
And didn't they also put the Women's Professional Baseball League statistics in as well?
I think they did.
I know they have their own wing in the museum, but I'm pretty sure that their statistics got rolled in when they absolved the league. What was that, 46, 47, somewhere in there? But yeah, and that's the thing that I will say is there has been a discussion since the Negro League stopped about including it because there were players that were kind of playing and kind of transitioned into professional baseball, and their Negro League statistics didn't count, so they didn't get consideration for the Hall of Fame like they should. They didn't get time credits for player benefits after retirement, stuff like that. And
I will say, though, that was fixed. Not to interrupt you, and I'm sorry, but that was fixed, and they did institute a Negro League committee. And a lot of those guys did end up getting into the Hall of Fame. Like Rat Dixon and a lot of those guys did end up getting plaques.
Didn't they do it in 2022?
No, the Negro League committee's been around for a while. That was
70s.
what? I was like 70s or 80s. But it was a long time before the Major League Baseball would officially recognize those statistics. And that's why the fans that are mad because Josh Gibson only had like 8,000 at bats. And is now like, what was it, like second or third all time for batting average?
I think he's first.
Or first, yeah, something like that was what Josh Gibson got. Because it was like 356, wasn't it?
No, Joe Jackson was 356. That was the other conversation we had.
Oh, okay.
Josh Gibson's at 372, which sits above Cobb's 366 now. So now the official top 3 is, if we're going by the new implementation of statistics, the official top 3 is Josh Gibson, Ty Cobb sits at second, and Rogers Hornsby is still at third.
It's for me, the thing of it is there was so much time that it took to get this right, first of all. And second of all, we also have to take into the account the amount of struggle that those players went through just to play a game that they loved. You can't look me in the eye and tell me guys were playing in the Negro League because of the fact that it paid well. So it didn't pay shit. And so these guys are going to get special consideration. This is called equity. It's not equality, it's equity. We're filling in the gap and giving them that same level of consideration because the gap shouldn't fucking be there.
Yeah, because while I'm normally against equity, and I think equity is harmful in a lot of situations, Cool Pop Bell should have been playing in Major League Baseball.
So many of those guys should have been.
Satchel Paige should have been pitching in the same rotation as Walter Johnson. Like I mean, so it's not. It's kind of like, I don't know if sorry, honey. I don't know if anyone's ever watched The Sopranos, but in the season where Richie Aprile gets out of jail and Tony starts offering all these things, and he's like, "You can't offer me what's already mine. What's mine isn't yours to give."
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it is with the Negro League players, because it was stolen from them.
You can't look me in the eye and tell me that a solid black pitcher is going to give up as many, having an equitable amount of rotations with solid black starting pitchers. Babe Ruth gets as many hits and home runs. Ty Cobb doesn't get as many hits and home runs.
I'd say he would, because he barnstormed with them. He knew those guys.
Right. It could have, but there's no way to know for sure.
And
there has to be balance. It could go either way.
And I think the problem with a lot of it is sure, there were a lot of players that were against the ban, but as a whole, most of the players were not against blacks being in the league. Cobb wanted integration. Ruth wanted integration. The players that mattered the players that they wanted, and that's a huge myth. A lot of people think Ty Cobb was a racist. He came from a long line of abolitionists, and he wanted black players in the league when he entered. It was strictly an owner's thing. And when the American League declared pro status, the National League strong-armed them into obeying it. I'm sorry, Ani. My daughter is monitoring my volume. But I mean, and it was, and they called it the gentleman's agreement, and that brings me back to Cobb with one of Cobb's most famous quotes, which probably doesn't apply to this situation, but it fits. Where he said, "People call baseball the gentleman's sport, but when I entered the sport, it was about as gentlemanly as a kick in the crotch." And
it's accurate though, because it's, and especially with how much the owners refuse to allow the players to have any control or say. And that's the thing, is that's why you see basketball so successful today. And Adam Silver is one of the greatest pro sports commissioners in the history of pro sports in the United States, is because he doesn't just give the players a say. He gave his players a seat at the fucking table.
Yep.
Because he's one of the few commissioners that professional sports has seen that understands that, yes, he works for the owners, but without the players, the product doesn't thrive.
I'm sorry, who are you talking about again? I missed the name.
Adam Silver.
Adam
So
Silver.
you have to give them a seat at the table. And with professional baseball, it has always, from the time of the creation of the commissioner, with the curse of the Black Sox, but not just then, even before, it has always been the owners versus the players. So as long as the owners stays that rich-ass old guy white club,
yep,
you're not going to see the development in baseball that you should, because those guys have their head too far up their ass to see that the product is squandering because they're not focused on the right things.
And it's kind of carried on in different ways up until now. I mean, why do you think baseball worships its past so much? Because in the 80s, when Tim Raines and Ricky Henderson were stealing bases, and Lou Brock is setting records, they didn't want to put those guys on the tickets.
I go on.
They didn't want the black faces on the tickets. They wanted to go back and have you remember Babe Ruth.
I go on every other show, and I always say Rod Manfred. And the reason why I say that is because the game hasn't progressed the way it should have.
Yeah.
Look at the NBA. Even look at the NFL.
Yep.
It really seems to me like Adam Silver takes players' opinions into consideration, almost as if he has his finger on the pulse of not just basketball but society as well.
He does.
So he knows. He just, and it's. I think a lot of it has to do because, I mean, if you really think about it, basketball, quite frankly, is a black brand sport.
Yes.
If you didn't take your black players' opinion into consideration, the NBA would not be what it is today. More people
100%.
come to see LeBron, and I will say MJ is better than LeBron till the day I die. But LeBron is going to bring more is going to bring more people into the stands than JJ Redick, or is going to bring more people into the stands than a Nick Stauskas, right? Adam has done a really awesome job keeping his finger on the pulse, and I think staying ahead of the curve of where the NBA should go versus where it could go if he were. Oh, it's just about the money. Let's just
and I gotta give.
Cut you off for 1 second. We are down to the 7-minute mark. Florida's still up 2-1.
Real quick.
Hey, hold on.
Tennessee
Something more important. Tennessee just won Baseball World Series.
Yeah.
Go Rocky Top.
That's not even a real state.
Okay.
I'm
It's one of the most beautiful states in the U.S. What are you talking about?
Get him. Get him,
Kentucky's.
You hang out with
Get him, my future ex-wife. Get him.
What's great about Tennessee, the state where every country music star pretends to be from, despite less than 1% of them actually being from?
It's literally Kentucky's drip pan. Look at the state map.
I will have you guys know that is my favorite pickup state Because every girl I see is an NIC. She has to be from Nashville. Come on.
You're so fucking lame. Don't say that.
Hey.
Endo goes down there and he's like, "Yeah, I got more teeth than all these ladies. I'm rolling in it."
Don't take that shit, Endo. Don't take that shit.
I would say I know where Ambrose
shit
sleeps, but he has to change his bedroom every night because his wife owns the house. So
Go fight back.
Hey,
Fight back.
It's not prison without bars, baby.
I do want to say one more thing. I do want to say one more thing about Adam Silver, and you got to give him props on this too. Not only does he do a good job in player relations in the NBA, he's also brought in the international component of it and managed it the same way.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
He has built the NBA brand.
Yep.
Right. And here's the thing. Roger Goodell, the NFL, he has actually legitimately expanded the NFL's brand. Under Rob Manfred, the MLB's brand has struggled and is probably arguable that it has actually fucking shrank. So yes, fuck Rob Manfred.
I would not say Roger Goodell did it. I would say the NFL is pretty much the brainchild of Pete Rozelle. Without Pete Rozelle, the NFL isn't anything.
But he
looked at TV. He looked at TV in the 60s. He got the owners together. He said, "This is the future. This is what we got to work with, and this is how we're going to do it. And we will be the biggest sports league in the world once we figure out how to get ourselves on here competently."
I will agree to a certain extent with that because
quit playing your pussy on
I was going to say, Ando, all we see is your pussy, dude. We don't want to see that.
Hey, it's better than other stuff that I could have a cock in my lap. That's all I'm saying. But I don't.
Lord knows you already had a microphone there, so why do you need a cock?
Well, keep your women in check, man. Jesus Christ. All right.
Hey, look, man. Hey, look here. My baby, she's an independent thinker. I can't stop that.
Yeah.
I can't stop that.
What I was.
Hey, you know what independent thinkers get? You will the basement where I am right now.
Nah, I know how to treat my girl.
What I was going to say was where Rozier brought the television. Rozelle brought the television to the States. I will say Goodell has brought NFL global, not just United States. Like, I mean, if you remember, even 10 years ago, they maybe played a game in Canada because the Bills were there by the Toronto Sky Dome. That's great. True. But now Goodell, not as much as Silver. I will agree with Will and Seven that Silver is the best commissioner in the sports, in the 4 major sports in the States.
I think Silver is good, but I think Silver is also bolstered by younger owners. And that also helped the NBA. The other leagues, these guys are so old and out of touch.
But
they
it's
can die out.
But I think it's
Jerry Jones like that. Leave him alone.
Jerry Jones and Robert Kraft, the 2 oldest owners. But I like where Goodell is pushing that. A lot of people give Goodell shit, but I like how he is pushing the game.
He's a jackass
internationally, and I agree. But I like seeing those international games, regardless. Like those games, because the fans are so into it. It doesn't matter who's overseas. I mean, I know the Jaguars go to London twice a year, which sucks. But I will say there's something about watching, like, soccer is growing so much in the States now because of how much, the world is loving soccer, United States. We should. True. This year, I don't know if it's just me, but the Copa. I want to say Copacabana. That's not right.
Copa America.
Yeah, see, like that's really pushing this year. And then because now the World Cup stage is going to be, next year that they're doing?
2026.
Yeah, we have games in the United States and football stadiums, right? That for me, I'm not a soccer fan, but I'll learn my team and support them and be like, hey, this is soccer. I never could do it. My ass ain't going to run up and down a field for fucking 90 minutes, but I'll watch people if it means I can get behind it, and there's a reason that I want to watch it. Absolutely.
I'll say this about soccer. When I played soccer in high school, we started and finished every practice running a mile. That was how we started and finished every practice.
All I gotta say about soccer is Alex Morgan. That's all I need to say.
Amen. Mia Hamm too.
I like Alicia Lehman.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Why is it that every women's sports we talk about boobs? I don't know, man.
Well,
John down there being all quiet, like I ain't going there. No.
Listen, volleyball is so much better to watch. Okay, fuck
Thank
every
you.
other sport you're talking about.
Well, I got to quote Kenny Powers on this. Be like, I thought I was an ass man, but I like big ass boobs.
I've always been a booby boy. Always.
Man,
Damn.
the hardest part about watching
Damn.
women's volleyball is some of them shorts are so short. You can tell those girls should be wearing a hairnet.
Hey, can we stay? Fucking hairnet. Can we just say that that's a good segue to talk about the butt plugs and the
Hold on,
Whoa,
I already talked about it.
No.
Are we clipping that?
And
You
what's
are
going on
not,
with you,
you are
man?
not getting,
You okay?
listen, you are not getting me canceled off FCC airwaves. I can't do it.
He put mics in his mouth.
Oh,
talking
that's
about
not
playing with his
bad.
nose there.
I warned you. I warned you. I came in here and everything was crazy. I don't
Okay.
know it to. It just does.
All right, y'all, simmer down.
But
Simmer down.
let's take this. Let's take this back because I do want to get into Mets real quick. Go ahead, Seven.
All right, so here's the first thing I will say. The Mets are actually on a pretty decent run right now. They are 8 out of their last 10.
One of the last two.
2 of their last 3.
Mhm.
The Mets are on a tear right now. So the question becomes, even though they had a rough start, record-wise, they are. Let me get the standings back in front of me. Record-wise, the Mets are. There you go. 14 games back in the division. They're 2 games below 500 at 37 and 39. The thing that you have to look at though is the wild card race in the National League is legitimately wide open, with the exception of the bottom 2 teams in the National League, the Marlins and the Rockies. There are 3 games separating the last wild card slot and teams still in contention. So right now, the National League is pretty wide open for that wild card slot. And really, it's just that first wild card slot that is right now a stronghold by the Braves. And with the Braves, and with that division, I feel like the Braves are probably going to finish second to the Phillies because the Phillies are one of the best teams in baseball right now.
They are.
So who's going to be the team that chokes the Dodgers?
Honestly, I
The
think
Dodgers. The Dodgers. The Dodgers.
The Dodgers.
They're gonna do it to themselves.
Okay.
They're gonna
Honestly,
do it to themselves.
well, I think
Here's
it would
the
be
thing that gets me.
absolutely. I think it'd be absolutely funny if it was the Mets that made the Dodgers choke out in the first round, because
But here's the thing that
first
gets me,
round
though.
is where the Dodgers go.
But here's the thing that gets me though, Seven, and I'm glad you brought that up because if it does end up being the Mets, the thing that gets me, the Mets payroll is just as high as the Dodgers payroll.
Here's the thing: the Mets should absolutely be a competitor right now. They should not be 2 games below 500 and 14 games back in their division.
No,
they're the Mets.
They're the Mets. And so, but when you look at the landscape in the National League, you have to ask the question, because the Mets are so close, and they have a few of their solid players that are at the end of their contract, like Pete Crow Armstrong, like Pete Alonso, do you buy or sell it coming up to the deadline?
I will say if you're any other team, yes, but the Mets work the market terribly. Like the Mets are someone that will go out with Lamborghini money and be talked into buying a Yugo.
my problem is, and Ambrose has a point, and Ambrose has a point. They're devoid of talent at the most important positions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that pisses me off because you're paying all this money, but you're not getting that production that you need to be successful. And that's just blowing my freaking mind. This team should be way better than what they are.
Steve Cohen is I feel like Steve Cohen is to baseball what Mark Cuban is to the NBA. Minus the effectiveness, because Mark Cuban can get you a postseason run.
Yes.
Steve Cohen can't get you a discount on hot dogs.
How long has Steve Cohen owned the Mets, though?
I don't think it's been long, has it?
Yeah, Mark Cuban.
It's been long.
Mark Cuban took a while to get
He had to make some fucked up choices.
He had to make some fucking choices and wheel and deal for a long time to get the Mavericks the respect he got them. So, I mean, Steve Cohen, and he didn't even inherit really a mess. He just inherited a crappy franchise. And Steve Cohen inherited a mess.
And the front office is still bad.
He inherited a mess. He inherited a team that was pretty much like that got boned by Bernie Madoff.
They did.
He came in and he had to deal with that whole thing. He had a studio. He had a stadium he didn't ask for that people don't like. I mean, it's
after
pretty
they
much
just rebuilt Yankee Stadium, you're not going to get a second new stadium in New York for a while.
Yeah, you're not.
They're stuck there for at least another, and I would say at least another 20 years. They're stuck in that stadium.
He's owned the Mets since 2020.
He's a minority owner of the Mets since 2012 with an 8% claim. August of 2020, he entered negotiations with two people to buy a controlling interest in the team before reaching an agreement the following month.
Let me ask y'all a question.
This is a team that has been mismanaged
historically
since 1990.
It's bad.
But, I mean, even with those, they still have 2 World Series appearances.
It's bad.
2000.
It's bad to where you can't.
So do the Rays. Who gives a crap?
But it's bad when you can't go out there and say, your best Mets teams, the Dwight Gooden, Darryl Strawberry. Mike Piazza.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Mets haven't been. The last time the Mets were relevant, I still hadn't started puberty.
I still.
I still think it was like late 90s. The wall in 2015.
Oh, that's right. They did have that run in 2015. That's right.
I forgot about that run.
Who beat him 7? Who beat him in what was it 6?
The Royals.
Royals beat him in 6.
The Royals. I forgot about that. So that's on me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because we had this conversation. The Royals and the Mets operate on the same wavelength. Like they'll have like 2 or 3 really good seasons and then just be irrelevant.
But
the Royals fan base, I think, is more loving of their team because the Mets every year just seem to lose.
Oh, the Mets fans are booing. The Mets fans are booing them.
Yes, in a second.
The difference is Mets fans will go out and boo them when they suck. Royals fans just don't go to the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and there's also an inferiority complex because the Royals aren't in anyone's shadow.
Hey, but
the Mets showed up and they've been in the Yankees' shadow since 1960.
But kind of like the Chargers and the Rams.
But Seven brought up a good question: should they be buyers or sellers at the end of the season?
Leave it alone.
I say sellers.
Leave it alone.
I thought buyers at first, but I say sellers and get some talent.
Even if you just lose Pete Alonso through the end of the season, you tell them, look, we're going to try and get some stuff. We'll re-sign you in the offseason. Whatever deal you get, we'll match it. And we'll bring you back. Pete Crow Armstrong, probably going to be a similar scenario. You got a couple of pitchers that are going to need renegotiation. Let him go. Let him go. Build up your draft capital, build up your farm system, and then sign those guys back in the offseason.
And they've lacked in this farm system for years.
And that's why I say, take advantage of the opportunity and sell. You are really, really deep because you would have to be very aggressive at the deadline to get yourself to where you can compete this year, even as a wild card team. I get that the Braves made a historic run in 2021, and I'm not discounting their achievement that year because it was one hell of a season for them, and they were a completely different team after the break than they were before.
Yep.
But this is not the Braves. They do not have the pending talent and the trade capital to make that happen. And so you sell at the deadline, you re-sign your franchise guys like Pete Alonso and stuff in the offseason. Give Pete Alonso a chance to earn a fucking ring because he's not going to earn it in a Mets jersey.
Nope.
There's no way.
How would Mets fans take it if Alonso shifted over to the Bronx and won a ring?
There's no way in hell the Mets
There's
no way in hell Pete Alonso ends up.
Hell to pay if it happened.
There's no
really because people said that a lot. People have said that about Wade Boggs. People have said that about Johnny Damon.
And here's first of all, Pete
Boggs
Alonso
a different case though.
It is, and part of it is yes, he's used to the New York media, but for the last 5 years, Pete Alonso has gotten a much better treatment because of how good he's been, and he's been one of the few shining examples. So he gets a little bit more grace in the way he gets treated by New York media, like you see guys like Jeter and Judge and Soto and fucking Garrett Cole get on the Bronx side. So it hasn't been as difficult for him, and he is fit for the New York market as far as the media is concerned. My thing is I don't think the Mets are going to let Pete Alonso take a World Series run across the fucking city when they can't give it to him.
7. Let me ask you this. And I thought about this the other day. Do you see the comparisons between Pete Alonso and Barry Sanders? Do you see the comparisons there?
Yeah, honey.
Do you see the comparisons there?
It's really hard.
Yes.
Do you see the comparison?
No.
Because they didn't want to.
I see it.
Because Detroit didn't want to let Barry go.
But the difference is because of the fact that he's in a contract year, and you get the rental system that you get in Major League Baseball that you don't really see happen in the NFL. If you're trading a player that's near a contract extension at the deadline, the expectation is the team that player is going to, he's probably signing with them. I don't think anybody doubts that if Pete Alonso ends up in fucking Arizona playing for the D-backs to try and help them get back to the postseason to try and make another run, I don't think anybody is going to question whether or not the Mets still have a shot at re-signing Pete Alonso in the offseason. And I don't think anybody would expect that Arizona's going to sign him. This isn't Johnny Cueto and the Royals.
Right.
So I can't. I think that Mets fans would take it hard.
Yeah,
that's just and I get it. It's just like if Ian Happ left for the rest of the season to go play for another fucking team instead of putting on a Cubs jersey. I don't think anybody in the Cubs fandom wants to see that happen. Right. But at the same time, I'm sorry, Pete Alonso deserves a shot at a ring on a team that's actually going to be able to get him there because the Mets don't have the front office that's capable of fucking building correctly. The least you can do is give him a shot before you give him his franchise contract.
Right. I agree.
And,
all right, guys. You got anything from baseball?
One more thing on the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
Mets last night, Mets closer Edwin Diaz was ejected at the bottom of the 9th inning.
You got the picture.
Or should some say ejaculated?
For foreign substances on his hand. This is a shot this is a screen grab from camera, like from the TV feed when they zoomed in on his hand while they were discussing with the umpires before he was ejected. Today it was announced he will face a 10-game suspension for illegal substance. It hasn't been said what it was. The belief is that he literally just had so much rosin and sweat and dirt that the umpires deemed it to be in excess, and that is a violation of the rules. Mm-hmm. Here's my problem with this, and this is a typical fucking Mets move. Not only is Edwin Diaz the third Mets pitcher since the crackdown of foreign substances started in 2021 to get suspended for something inappropriate on his hands. There's only been 8 pitchers that have been suspended under this rule. That 3 of 8. We are just shy of 50%. So what the fuck are the Mets doing? And we add in, when this happened, the Mets had a 3-run lead in the game last night. He didn't need to fucking do that. What in the absolute fuck is the Mets organization doing?
What do you say?
Well, I think his pitching coach might be Eddie Harris from Major League.
And what do you say? And what do you say, Seven, about how this happens? Do we say culture?
It is. It's because look at what happened with the Angels. One player gets caught up in drugs. You see another one die. All of a sudden, you learn that there was an entire fucking problem of drugs being dealt out of the Angels clubhouse, not just to players, but to other fucking teams. This is a culture problem with the Mets, and this is why they should be sellers, and this is why they need to let Pete Alonso get a shot at a fucking World Series title with somebody else, because you do not have the organizational fucking fortitude to do it the right way.
No, they don't.
This fucking baffles me.
They don't.
That you would do this in such a dumb fucking situation.
They don't. And it's a damn shame. And it's a damn shame. All right, I do want to go ahead and get into some basketball. I got a lot to say about basketball. The John might be with me on some of this, so we'll see. Let's go ahead and start with the hardwood. First thing I gotta say is this.
Stop.
Okay, and I can't say what I want to say because his daughter's right there.
It's all right. She's heard far worse.
I'm still gonna be respectful. What in the world are the Lakers doing? What are they doing?
Yeah.
Trying to
Tell
lose.
them. That's right. JJ Redick as your head coach. Really? Really?
Does LeBron stay? I don't think he does. I think this is clearly a PR move for the Lakers where, hey, we're going to give you a puppet.
Go watch
You're the
TV.
puppet master, LeBron. I don't think it's enough to stay. I think LeBron's gone. Wherever Bronny goes, that's where LeBron's going to go.
I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Let's hear it, John. Let's hear it.
Go ahead, John.
Can you use some more milk for a
They
second?
hired JJ. They have a good reason to lose. They just did the same thing to Darvin Ham.
But my thing is this. And if you go back and look at the Lakers the last few seasons, you let Vogel go after you won a title.
Yeah.
You let Ham go after you got you to the Western Conference Finals, and not that it means much, but won the in-season tournament. I mean,
what is the in-season tournament? What is that?
Ratings.
Yeah, it's all it is.
They try to make it more competitive.
Try to make it more
to make the players play a little tougher during the regular season for something. Something that's actually nothing.
Here's the thing, I want to point out, like, I understand the criticism that JJ Redick hire, but I also want to point out something else. Can you guys give me a basketball podcast where actual talented players sit down opposite someone and have legitimately in-depth, interesting, educating conversations about the true depths of the game and what these guys experience, and the person that's running the interview has the legitimate respect of every actual player that sits across from them?
But here's my problem. It's one thing, and I said this the other night. It's one thing to know the game. It's another thing to be a leader of men. JJ has yet to prove he can be a leader of men.
I
go back.
He's been a leader of boys before.
I mean, you got to also take into account what's the NBA.
Go ahead.
What's the talent well though? Because those coaches, a lot of them are just throwing the towel in. They're not getting coaches with good pedigree.
Assistant coaches who deserve that job.
Can I say one? Sam Cassell.
Thank you.
That name's been thrown around a lot, and I don't disagree with that. But here's the thing: in this game, just like with the way that hockey is, in this game, in modern basketball, that coach's job is to manage egos, because what happens on that floor is decided by the players more often than not.
Edmonton fell short, by the way, and we have the Panthers holding up their first Stanley Cup championship.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
The USA has now won every Stanley Cup Finals since 1994.
I picked Spidey.
But it's my thing is,
it is.
Your coach's job is to manage egos.
I picked Web Spinner.
Chris Vogel didn't really have enough of a spine to be able to do that. Darvin Ham was better at it, but the edge still wasn't there. JJ Redick can at least have the respect in the room, and he also understands, because of his 15 years in the league, that the players are actually dictating more of what's going on than what he's doing. And right now, because of how thin the capital is for the Lakers to be able to draft and trade, you've got to get everything out of these guys that you can. And so LeBron or not, JJ Redick can be the scapegoat, which I think is still part of it, because nobody has any expectation of what JJ Redick is going to do. You can't be like, oh yeah, he's going to win. He's going to take them to the finals next year. Anybody that says it, like, don't get me wrong, I'm still going to put $10 on the Lakers winning the NBA Finals next year, because I could use an extra $10,000 based on what the odds are going to fucking be. But I mean, nobody actually expects it to happen. but you can still get a guy that's going to at least control the room while they try to reassess what they're doing. They're hoping they're going to get the LeBron back. They're hoping they're going to be able to draft Bronny. But if that was the deciding factor, Bron would have already signed his contract.
Mm-hmm.
I just think, A, you have a rookie head coach who's never coached in the league. B, Anthony Davis is already fighting back against this. And C, look at that roster as a whole. That roster as a whole is trash.
Yep.
Straight trash.
Who can fucking shoot? Nobody.
What? You got three players on that team: Reeves, Bron, and Davis.
Yep.
That's it.
Everything else can go.
Everything
They're
else can
quickly
go.
becoming the NBA's version of the Cowboys. They're becoming a museum. I mean, it's not really that hard to see it. Even casual basketball fans can look at it. They're becoming a once was.
But here's my question. Where is the benefit? And this is my understanding, because I know that I don't watch as much basketball as you guys do because I'm always watching baseball. What is the benefit to a team in the Lakers situation to hire a guy like Sam Cassell that does – I mean, you don't know that you're getting LeBron because you don't know that. So what is the benefit of having a guy like Sam Cassell, which would really be the hire of a team that's really in the process of building and is actually looking at starting to make a stretch run? A team that, like, 2 years ago it was the Kings, last year the Thunder. A team like that is where Sam Cassell should realistically. That's where he should go. The Lakers don't have that talent. The Timberwolves.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna have to go, but what Sam Cassell brings to that team, he can bring order to that team. Because the coach has never been in control.
Yeah.
Sam Cassell has 3, possibly 4 rings. I know he has 3.
2 with the Rockets.
And he got one with the Celtics.
One at the end with the Celtics, and then as a coach with the Celtics.
Mm-hmm. Okay, gotcha. So 4
he
total. But either way, he's been there.
Yeah.
They've hired coaches who haven't actually played and been there.
Yeah, look at the players that he played with.
It takes. Right.
So, I mean, because he played with Hakeem, who naturally I think was just a natural born leader. He played with KG in Minnesota. And KG was I'm going to be the outspoken architect type.
Didn't that Rockets team have Clyde Drexler on it too?
Yep.
They had Hakeem Olajuwon, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, I think Cassell is a solid hire for whoever decides to, if he gets hired. If he stays with Boston another year, hey, great. It's Boston's, Boston benefits from it from another season. But I like Cassell's history and his, I'm not going to say breeding of coaches, but his mind for basketball with, again, who he played with and the decades of the games that he played in and learning the way that the game has evolved. He's got that mind for basketball. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think JJ is a great player. I wouldn't, he wouldn't be a starting point guard or shooting guard for me, but he's a good, solid option off the bench. But Cassell is that guy with the history and the knowledge that he has. How can you not sign him?
Right.
That's it.
All right, guys.
But with LeBron, one more thing.
Y'all, I got to tip out. I appreciate y'all.
All right, man. Appreciate you coming on, big dog.
Yeah.
Take it easy, John.
Man.
LeBron is my age. Is how much longer? I think he's waiting it out so he can play a season with his son.
That's exactly what he's
How
doing.
much longer can we really expect him to hang on in the league?
I don't.
You got 2 season stops.
Do we? Because I think a lot of people at 36, 37, when he signed with LA at the beginning of that contract, he was going to start falling off, and he hasn't.
Well, and here's why I say 2 seasons, because you can't look me in the eye and tell me that Bronny James is ready to play in the NBA next year. So he's gonna be a G League player next year.
Agreed.
He doesn't have a choice.
Agreed.
And so LeBron's gonna have to ride it out with that team for 2 years, which is one of the reasons why the Suns are gonna make a huge fucking push to trade up and grab Bronny way too fucking early because they want to sign LeBron James. And Matt Ishbia will give LeBron James all the fucking control he wants. And he's literally right now probably beating off at the thought of having Kevin fucking Durant and LeBron James on his court every fucking night.
But the other side of that coin is, would LeBron go to Phoenix?
if Phoenix actually gets Bronny, LeBron's going to Phoenix.
I don't know, man. Phoenix might sign Brittany Griner.
Damn.
Already playing for the.
My only call for pause is this. You got Budenholzer in Phoenix.
Yep.
And there's a lot of bullshit that Budenholzer don't go through. I think the only reason why he sort of kind of cracked down at the end of his run with Milwaukee is because his wife died. But he was highly successful before his wife passed away, winning a championship. My thing with LeBron,
Budenholzer also coached the Hawks as well.
Yep. And my thing with Budenholzer, he is a coach's coach. He likes to coach his players. Does LeBron want to be coached?
At this, go 7.
Because that's what Budenholzer has always been.
But
is a coach's coach.
I get what you're saying, but here's the question. A guy like LeBron, how much time can you spend having the energy to actually run the fucking team all the time? He has now clearly seen that he cannot be a GM.
Yeah.
We've seen that with the product that we got out of the Lakers.
Yes.
Yep.
So do you take the opportunity to just take that step back? He's already gotten a bunch of records, so he can take it easy.
He can.
Obviously, he's not an off-the-bench guy, but now you're going to see LeBron play like 25 minutes a game, at least until the postseason. He's going to play, but until we see the postseason, you're not going to see him tick above 30.
I think it's in LeBron's best interest to take a breather. If Phoenix is the place that he goes, Budenholzer is one of those guys that I'd be okay with coaching Chicago. Like if you punted Billy Donovan out and put in Budenholzer,
I don't think LeBron would ever go to the Bulls.
It's not that again. I'm not going to say LeBron is going to the Bulls. I'm saying as a Bulls fan, I like Budenholzer as a coach better than Billy Donovan.
It's Rabble Rouser is the coach's name.
It's if LeBron does go to Phoenix, I think the first coach definitely since Spoelstra, where he can take his hands out of the kitchen and be like, I trust Budenholzer. And then what 7 said, let me play 28, 30 minutes a night. Give me 20
25 tops until they're that 20 games.
Look, it all depends. He's got to take a tour of these arenas because the floor has to be comfortable enough for him to flop on. So if the court is hard, he's not going to do it.
But it's for me. The thing is, like I think that hiring Rabble Rouser as coach for the Suns, I think it was a good move for them.
Yeah.
Yes.
As many jokes as I've made about that guy, he is a coach, and I respect it. And like Ando said, he is legitimately the first guy since Spoelstra where you can sit there and go, all right,
he's a coach's coach, and he will give Phoenix an identity.
Yeah, he absolutely. And
you're gonna keep Durant, and then you're probably gonna keep Devin Booker. So
I'll let Bill.
Yeah,
find a way to get rid of Beal. If you can get draft picks, great.
They are currently in the process of trying to see if they can trade back Bradley Beal to McDonald's for a fry cook to be named later.
Somehow he'll end up on the Mets.
But think about that big three. Think about
the leadoff hitter.
Okay, so Matt Ishbia is a businessman.
Yes.
Matt Ishbia built
Yes.
the largest mortgage company in the United States. The biggest that is Matt Ishbia's baby. And he gets the chance to have LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker as his big three. He doesn't give a fuck if they win a title. He's going to sell so much fucking merchandise, so many tickets. They will get so much of a kickback from most of the arenas that they go to because their ticket sales will fucking double. You can't tell me that Oklahoma City Thunder is expecting a huge ticket night when the Phoenix Suns come into town until LeBron James signs that fucking contract with the Phoenix Suns.
You will definitely see.
Business-wise, this is a perfect move for Matt Ishbia. And the reason why I said I will become a Dallas Mavericks fan if LeBron James goes to the Suns after I leave the state of Arizona. Because fuck you, LeBron. Fuck you. That's discrimination because I'm white.
Fuck you.
And I have a problem with this. So
Can we get
fuck
LeBron? If that happens, we got to get LeBron on this podcast just to be like,
I think LeBron would probably have a problem if he ever watched this podcast and saw all the shit I've talked about him.
He comes straight after you. He comes straight after you with the book too. He comes straight after your ass, bro.
The moment he's gonna open page 6 and be like, "Look, motherfucker, I can't read."
Yeah, and Dan's gonna be there the entire time, oogling and goggling, like, man, you know, I've been talking to
Dan's gonna be playing with his bow staff.
Yeah,
Dan's gonna be standing under
Ando's
LeBron
been sitting here
holding
trash
his
talking
nutsack.
you. Dan will be on the podcast with LeBron. Look, Ando's been trashing you, man. He says Jordan is the greatest. You got to put him in his place, man. Put that fucker in his place.
Dan will be like, "Oh my God, LeBron's coming on the show. I need to find my shirt with sleeves."
Clear my fucking schedule. Clear my fucking. Hold on. I gotta get this right. Hold on.
Oh my gosh.
No, I can't. The
Clear
movie
my
makes
fucking
no sense for
schedule.
the Suns.
Clear my fucking schedule. LeBron's gonna be here. Okay. I will rattle off every LeBron stat that you need to see. This is why I miss fucking Dan. Dan needs to be here for shit like this.
Yes.
But no, it's business wise. This makes sense for Ishbia to be aggressive on, especially because he's younger, and like an older owner, like if Jerry Colangelo still owned the Suns, they're not making the push to get LeBron.
No,
Matt Ishbia is making the push to get LeBron. I
And then
guarantee
it comes back to that the NBA has a finger on their pulse because it is a younger owner society now.
Yep.
Well, also, what it is, and what MLB needed to do, and they never did, is the younger owners told Jerry Reinsdorf to shut the fuck up. And they didn't do that in baseball. And Jerry Reinsdorf is, even though the White Sox suck, he's one of the guys with the most money, and he's the most powerful owner in baseball. And the league runs the way he wants it to run.
It's
he
guys
tried
like
that
him and Ken Kendricks that are holding baseball back.
Yeah.
And he tried to do that shit in the NBA, and everybody said, "Shut the fuck up. Once Jordan retires, you ain't shit."
And that's pretty much right.
That's exactly
right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and go around the room, get final thoughts and opinions. Then we'll get on out of here for tonight. 7, what you got coming up, my friend? Final thoughts and opinions.
Field Yates rated Patrick Mahomes as the 5th best quarterback in the NFL.
Damn.
Going into this
who
season.
did?
Field Yates, that ESPN commentator.
I thought he was fantasy.
No, it's
football.
ESPN. It's automatically just bullshit.
ESPN, yeah, he's ESPN, yeah.
And putting Anthony Richardson.
He's the inside. Well, don't forget, he's a NFL insider, and he does the fantasy stuff.
Yeah, but it's for ESPN. That's like the National Enquirer.
You can't look. There's only one quarterback right now in the NFL that you can argue is allowed to be on par with Patrick Mahomes, and that's Swaggy Joe Burrow. Because Josh Allen can't beat Patrick Mahomes in a game that matters.
Go lay down.
The only top tier quarterback in the NFL today that has beat Patrick Mahomes in a game that fucking matters is Joe Burrow. So
I don't think Burrow's even on that level, though.
No, but here's the thing.
I wouldn't even say that.
Here's why he is. Because the year in the playoffs when the Bengals beat the Chiefs in the AFC title game, Joe Burrow had an offensive line that was basically Chris Paul and Orlando Brown Jr. A fucking cone and a turnstile was what was protecting Joe Burrow.
And he got it done.
That dude got sacked so many times the LAPD thought he was fucking black.
Joe Burrow, you mean Rodney King?
Listen, I'm just speaking facts here.
I mean, Orlando Brown was a walking turnstile.
Anthony Richardson and CJ Stroud are remarkable talent. But first of all, the fact that Anthony Richardson was ranked above CJ Stroud on that fucking list is a joke.
Agreed.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud earned his fucking stripes.
He did. He did.
And second of all, ain't none of them nutsacks but Joe Burrow can even hold a fucking candle to Patrick Mahomes right now because none of them have knocked him off in a game that matters.
The only argument I will make with you, Seven, is if it's based off of fantasy points where the rushing yards matter and because of what Allen and Lamar Jackson can threaten to do with their legs. That's the only reason I'd even put them in the same category.
Then why the fuck is Joe Burrow still top 5? Because the only thing Joe Burrow rushes for is a fucking hospital gurney anytime he gets behind his offensive line.
Pray to God, please I don't get hurt at this point. No.
He's going to be on the net,
I don't.
He's going to be on the Mets, too.
He's looking at every player on that opposing defense as if they're That's how bad that offensive line is.
That offensive line in Cincinnati made so many guys look good that are just fucking dog shit on defense.
I saw that same list that you were looking at, and what got me was that fantasy football. So I can kind of understand where Yates is coming from, but I am wholeheartedly agreeing that putting Anthony Richardson at third is a joke. Richardson's rookie year was cut off early by surgery. Injury.
Yeah, that's another thing. He didn't know shit for fantasy because he was fucking injured.
And
and you can't tell me that Indianapolis team has gotten that much better. He's going to go from what?
When are the critics going to learn? The more that you throw down and underestimate the Chiefs always find a way.
I just think if you're looking at it from and I play pretty regularly. Excuse me. If you look at it from a point of fantasy football, and you're taking everything into account, the only person I'm putting above Patrick Mahomes is Lamar Jackson. That's the only person I'm putting above him. The only person. For fantasy purposes. For fantasy purposes only.
Yeah, I can go with that.
I got Lamar first.
I don't think
Lamar first, Patrick second, Josh Allen third.
Yep, I can go in that order.
It's in fantasy points that list it makes perfect fucking sense.
Yeah.
But on the other side of things, for actual talent in football, it should be Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow.
Then hold on. You put Patrick Mahomes at 1, and you leave 2, 3, and 4 empty because there is nobody close.
No, hold on. Patrick Mahomes.
I'll listen.
Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes with an injured leg, Josh Allen, and then Lamar Jackson.
Okay, I can go with that.
He said, "What a broken leg, injured leg."
What about Trevor Lawrence?
Oh hell no! Oh hell no!
Sunshine is going to be making his endorsement money doing Herbal Essence commercials in the next
I gotta say, I will say this: being the brother of a Jaguars fan, I really hope Trevor finds a way to make the Jaguars go to the playoffs again.
If he does not get them at least to a shouting distance of an AFC title, he makes the front office of the and he has to do it this season.
He does.
And I don't understand
why
he got that. I don't understand why he got that contract, to be honest. Because while you had to do it in terms of his quote unquote talent, where is he taking that team?
Will, I'm going to answer that right now. Take a look at the top 3 quarterbacks and what they've been paid. By banking on Lawrence now instead of next year, that quarterback market is going to be so much more expensive for the Jaguars.
I get the market perspective. I get that. But my issue is, where has he taken this team?
Listen, here's what I'm going to say. And this is why I cannot stand this contract. This is another fact I saw it on ESPN a couple days ago. If you look at numbers over the first 48 games of their career, with a difference of 1 win, Trevor Lawrence compares exactly to one quarterback that is currently active in the NFL.
Is it Patrick Mahomes?
It's Daniel fucking Jones.
Yep.
I'm talking line by line. The difference was 1 win in 48 games.
It's like maybe like a 10-yard difference. The completion percentage is almost exactly on point.
It was within 1%.
I think Trevor has like 3 more touchdowns, but between fumbles and interceptions, Trevor and Daniel are eerily turnover prone.
Okay, so I got a question. So I'll ask the question again, since you just brought that up. He's comparing to Daniel Jones.
Yep.
What does that tell you?
And that's
But yet you paid him all that.
That's
well,
why
because
I'm saying,
the Jaguars owner is the new Jerry Jones. He wants his name. That's why it's always the Jaguars might move here, the Jaguars might move there.
But I get
I
Ando's
love
point,
seeing his name in the
But
paper.
I get Ando's point too, because you're trying to succeed in this quarterback market. So I get that point. But still,
no, they pulled the trigger too early. You grabbed the 5th-year option.
Hold on, she's coming through with an actual Jaguar. She's coming through with an actual Jaguar.
You grab the 5th-year option. I'm not saying you don't pick that up. But in the first 3 years of Trevor Lawrence season, he has not shown you that he deserves to be a top 5 paid quarterback.
No.
And so you tell him this year, you want top 5 money? We'll give you top 5 money. But you've got to get us to at least a shouting distance of an AFC title game. Because right now, Trevor Lawrence has not shown us that he is even a top 10 quarterback. He is getting top 10 ratings mostly out of media favor because he has such beautiful fucking hair. He has not shown talent-wise. He fucking regressed last year.
I'm going to argue with that the Jaguars started 8-3, and the reason the Jaguars fell off was because Trevor got hurt. Now, I'm not saying that the Jaguars' fall from grace this last year wasn't entirely Trevor's fault, and Trevor wasn't completely clean of blame. But there was a point last year where the Jaguars were playing good football because of the defense they had and the lack of mistakes that Trevor was making. The Jaguars, I think, are banking on him being healthy this year and having the defense to carry through the AFC South.
No, what they need, because you also saw last year, they ran the football a whole awful lot last year.
Yep.
So it wasn't just Trevor who got them to that good record. They were running the football a whole hell of a lot.
Like I said, Trevor wasn't completely not to blame, but Trevor needs to shoulder the load as well.
He's got
If he was hurt, he should have sat down.
And I'm not saying that there isn't talent in Trevor Lawrence. That's why I'm saying pick up your 5th-year option. But he had not earned that deal yet.
No.
And I get trying to be early, but you can be early and have a lower annual contract value of $55 million a year.
Yeah.
You could have gotten him in at 50 and incentive laid the contract so that he has a chance to earn 55 or 60.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's looking at that contract just doesn't make sense to me, man.
Yeah.
And like I say, the performance and your results haven't been there.
Okay, can I float a theory? Can I float a theory out there? Maybe the contract does make sense because as a Washington Nationals fan, I know I'm jumping sports, but just follow me on this. When the Nationals signed Jason Worth to like $100 million contract when he was done in Philly, no one really understood why. It was one of the dumbest contracts I've ever seen offered to a guy that was at the end of his career, pretty much well past his prime, and was getting $100 million. But what it did do was show other prospective free agents that Washington is willing to spend the money.
Yeah, that's the difference is in baseball, you don't have a salary cap that you have to abide by.
Right.
In football, you do. Yes, the numbers are going to be expanding in the coming years because of the improvement of the TV deals that the NFL is getting.
Yes.
But you still have the fact of the matter is that you can't have that much of your salary tied up in your quarterback. You just can't.
Not unless he's Patrick Mahomes.
But Patrick Mahomes,
right.
But Patrick took a team-friendly deal.
40, 45?
Patrick Mahomes is the Tom Brady of this era. He can put the team on his back and find a way to win. Yeah. Trevor Lawrence can do that in brief intermittent spurts where he can kind of get you there or at least make it competitive at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But Trevor Lawrence is not Patrick Mahomes.
No.
And why are you setting up Trevor Lawrence to do team-friendly pay cuts where really they're just giving him some of his money in fucking bonuses at the start of the season so it doesn't count against the salary cap? Why are you giving him that kind of deal when right now he's not proving to even be a top 10 quarterback?
Do you
outside of his second season?
Yeah.
He has not proven it.
So you think he's getting paid on projectability versus what he's actually done?
It's not just about projectability at this point.
Yeah.
They're over projecting because the way he's projecting right now, like we said, line by line, he is right there with Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Does anybody looking at Daniel Jones' career numbers and thinking that he should be paid as a top 10 quarterback? Show me a person that's saying that, and I'll show you somebody that needs to stop smoking fucking crack. So I'm sorry. I have not seen enough from Trevor Lawrence to justify making him one of the highest paid quarterbacks. Like I said, 5th-year option, 100%. On board, can't criticize it.
Yeah.
I bet Dak Prescott is crying so hard right now because he didn't get that from the Cowboys.
Dak Prescott is crying because his sleep number changed.
Yeah. Dak, this might actually benefit Dak with him not being a team player. That dude's gonna try and rake in $60 million next year. $60 million.
Somebody will give it to him.
Yeah. Somebody will pay.
Watch him land at the Minnesota Vikings. That would be some funny shit.
That's and John's off the screen, but yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like the Vikings always go for that guy.
Be Chicago. It'll be Chicago after they realize that Caleb Williams isn't the guy.
No, they'll give him 2 or 3 years before they move on.
Yeah,
that's how stupid. I mean, because you can still build up more draft capital that way.
Right.
They have no, because he's so cheap, and you're going to lose the expectations after he has an abysmal rookie year.
Yeah.
By the way, is there a betting pool on how long it takes for Chicago to admit that they fucked up signing Caleb Williams? Or
they will never admit it. They will just say that it wasn't the right fit for their team, but he's still one of the most talented quarterbacks to ever play the game.
Yep, they'll PR spin it.
He's talented, just not with the
because you're going to see Justin Fields take off with Pittsburgh. It's going to happen. Russell Wilson is going to crumble like he's a fucking cookie.
Yep, crumble cookie. You mean? I'm sorry. Who are we talking about?
And
Mr. Sierra, Sierra,
Ciara's husband.
Yeah.
Ciara's husband will fucking fold like a hotel towel, and Justin Fields will take over and save Mike Tomlin's job. Because I think that extension was more for part of his retirement package than anything else. Because I don't think anybody expects Mike Tomlin to live out that contract.
Grimace will be under center for one of these teams.
And so now you have Justin Fields that will actually surge in Pittsburgh. I think it's the perfect fucking location.
Oh, absolutely.
And
considering you called it 2 weeks before he signed,
just saying, and everybody was like, "No, that's not going to happen." I was like, I fucking told y'all. Anyway,
he might bring back memories of Cordell Stewart.
And that's the thing is he's going to breathe life into that offense that they haven't seen, and it's going to be great for Tomlin's career. It's going to be great for his career because the expectation is so low at this point in Pittsburgh. And then Chicago will spin it around, be like, yeah, we started that. He's that good because of us. And when Caleb Williams falls apart and they're hoping that they can fucking trade for Kyler Murray, they're just going to have to try and spin it because at this point, Chicago has not taken ownership for the way that they run their organization.
Nope.
They are. Here's the thing. If you want to look at why Chicago is failing, look at how Rob Manfred runs Major League Baseball. It's the same fucking basics on a just smaller scale because
level.
It's one team instead of a league.
Is it safe to say that the Bears spokesperson is LeVar Ball? Never lost.
Yeah.
We never lost.
They definitely consult with him on PR. They're definitely consulting.
We may not have gotten it, but we never lost.
All right, Seven. What you got coming up for this week, my friend? What you doing?
Nothing yet. All of my other podcasts, After Dark, First Generation Dad, and Dan and I will be bringing back After Dark. Those will all come back starting the week of July 7th. We are working on video episodes of First Generation Dad. Will and I have already been discussing on that. We are making plans to bring that back to its former glory. And so to close it out, Will, I got a dad joke for you.
Let's do it.
Go.
Will, what did Sushi A say to Sushi B?
Oh God, I know. Can I say this? I know.
Wasabi!
Yeah.
That's a good one. I can't wait to do that show again. That was so much fun. All right. Ando, what you got going on this week, my friend?
Work sucks. I know. Just this fucking week, dude, has been a just absolute disaster, psyche, mentally. Tomorrow night, hoping to get back to streaming. They announced on Nintendo Switch, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past 4 Sword on GBA, the emulator with online capability, so you can play 4 Swords online with people.
Have they put in any of the emulators? Have they put the Pokemon games in there yet?
No, they have not. I'm waiting for them to do it. A lot of it just has to do is because the Game Boy Color games, especially Fire Red and Leaf Green, I think is what the fans are pushing for.
I just want Red, Blue, and Yellow.
Yep.
And Silver, Gold, and Crystal, maybe. The rest of them can go fuck themselves.
Agreed.
Here's the thing with Nintendo is the fans will say, hey, we want this. And Nintendo will be like, hey, how about you shut up?
Don't forget, too.
They're the Apple of the video game console industry.
And don't forget, too, you can do these on your Apple device now.
Yeah.
Apple finally emulation come through on Apple. So definitely check that out as well.
I think I'm going to try and get back into streaming with that. But yeah, I mean, besides work, just, beating me down. I got to get back up and go to work.
Gotta do what you gotta do,
then Wednesday, Thursday, I'm off. So hopefully get some streaming in there. Wednesday morning, you do your other sports podcast, right? Well, Wednesday morning.
Yes, I guess host on Coffee and Sports in the Morning.
Cool. I will see if I can at least make an appearance in the chat for that. Otherwise, Saturday, Geek Gauntlet podcast. As long as I'm feeling it, I'll be there, man.
All right, cool. Appreciate that. Ambrose, what you got going on this week, man?
Nothing.
Hey.
Nothing. I got physical therapy. I'm healing faster than usual, so I'm ahead of schedule. So I'm happy with that.
Very good.
But other than that, nothing.
Very
I got
good.
my kids at daycare, so I got to plan my day around that. Not daycare, day camp. And I kind of got to get used to the fact that I'm dropping her off for things now, which is kind of soul crushing. She's my sidekick,
right?
So, yeah, that's a little hard. But other than that, yeah, not much going on.
All right. Nothing going on over here either. Just getting ready for NBA free agency, getting ready for the NBA draft. Gonna be doing a lot of coverage of it coming up. So I'm getting
Even though
ready,
the Bulls
man.
ain't gonna be doing shit.
We got.
I gotta say though, if that trade rumor going around that the Bulls are trading for Anthony Davis for Levine, DeRozan, and a first-round pick, I'm gonna be pissed.
I'm out. I'm out at that point.
Dude, we got Vujovic. We don't need two bigs down low.
We don't need two bigs.
We got Drummond. If Drummond comes back, we got Vujovic and Drummond.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yep. Nope.
I'm out. That doesn't work for me.
Fire
We
Billy
need guard
Donovan and
play.
that new GM. Yeah.
You let Alex Caruso go. No good mother.
Yeah.
Oh.
And we get Josh Giddey for it. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Giddey is a good player, but again, he's a 4, right? So that's another big down low.
He's gonna be. He'll probably be.
You just said Diddy and down low in the same sentence.
He'll probably be your small forward. Maybe bring up the ball from time to time.
Will, I was talking about the flooding that we have in the area. I just sent you a picture of one of our railroad bridges that were destroyed from the flood. Yeah. That happened last night at 11 o'clock at night.
Oh, damn.
Jesus, everybody okay?
So yeah, I mean, it's just there's a lot of flooding up in the area. We had a dam in Minnesota broke 4 or 5 this afternoon. So yeah, just with all the rainfall that we've had, it's just there's if you type in McCook Lake, South Dakota, look at the devastation there. Roads have actually been pulled up because of the flood. So
the Midwest is getting peppered right now. I was watching some press conferences on that yesterday.
There's a joke going around. You guys heard of the Tua? Everybody in the Midwest listened, and that's why we're flooding. Come on, guys. That was good.
I was just going to say, is that why there's like bushels of corn floating past my house right now?
Well, you've heard of the Hawk Tua lady, right? Will's got to know what the Hawk Tua lady is.
He sent her an invite to come to his house.
Hawk Tua and spit on that thing.
Man, I cannot believe she lost her fucking job. That poor woman.
What?
Yeah, she did, because there were kids at the school that started doing it. And so
what is she, a teacher?
I read about that.
Yeah,
I read about that. Yeah.
If you're a teacher, don't go on the internet.
She was out with her friend. She got interviewed while she was drunk.
Yep.
Like,
What's
I'm
the one
sorry.
thing,
That's
what's the one
bullshit.
thing you can do in the bedroom to keep your guy like occupied? She's like, yeah, you just got to give him that hawk to spit on that thing.
I mean, personally, I don't care because all I see in my Facebook feed is really fucking annoying. So I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's all I'm literally seeing on my
Oh my
Facebook
gosh.
feed. And it's like, it's a 10-second clip and it's not even that funny.
Oh my gosh. And on that note, we're going to get out of here,
Seven and I
everybody.
are all laughing.
And on that note, we're going to get on out of here, everybody. Thank you for coming through on this edition of the Sports Report. We'll be back again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. We'll see you then. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night, everybody.
I'm going to send Ando a Trevor Lawrence toupee.
Okay, I'll wear it.